Serenity Forge. Avviso sui contenuti. Questo è un gioco horror non adatto a tutti i tipi di pubblico. Visiti il nostro sito per una lista dettagliata di tutte le avvertenze sui contenuti. Slade Princess include immagini intermittenti con un effetto parallassi che in rare occasioni hanno provocato chinitosi nei giocatori. Se uno di qualsiasi di questi effetti dovesse provocare disturbi o disagi, puoi disattivarlo nelle impostazioni di gioco. Qualsiasi orrore troverai in questi oscuri recessi, abbi il coraggio di andare fino in fondo. Non ci sono finali prematuri, non ci sono decisioni sbagliate, esistono solo nuovi inizi e punti di vista. Questa è una storia d'amore. Ok, iniziamo questo gioco e vediamo cosa ne esce fuori. Potrebbe andare a finire molto male come potrebbe andare a finire molto bene, chissà. Ma sicuramente andrà a finire estremamente male. Nel dubbio teniamo qua aperto Discord. Quindi iniziamo. Nuova partita. Capitolo 1. L'eroe e la principessa. Salva.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Quante scelte abbiamo già?
I'm talking about the end of everything as we know it. No more birds, no more trees, and perhaps most problematically of all, no more people. You have to put an end to her.
Vediamo. Ma come fa una principessa chiusa nella cantina a provocare la fine del mondo?
Linger on the specifics. You have a job to do here. Just get in there and do what needs to be done. We're all counting on you.
Vediamo.
Look, you're already on the path that leads to the cabin. Why would you be here if it weren't to complete a very important task? You've made it this far, you might as well reach the end of your journey.
Il ragionamento non fa una piega.
Does it? Are you a monarchist? Is slaying a princess that much worse than slaying a fisherman or a miller or a seamstress? If anything, slaying a princess is much better than slaying a seamstress. Seamstresses contribute something of value to society.
Il dissing alla monarchia.
While I appreciate the mental exercise, we are running up against a bit of a ticking clock. Nevertheless, let me assure you, the princess is locked up because she's dangerous. She is not dangerous because she's locked up. And before you decide to waste even more of our time by asking how I know that, let me suggest a more pragmatic lens through which to view this situation. Causality doesn't matter here, because the end result is the same no matter what led us up to this point. If the princess leaves the cabin, the world will end, and there is no changing that.
Ok, allora vabbè.
It's no use arguing semantics over a metaphorical chicken or egg, because the egg is hatched and it's about to ruin everything.
Ah.
Unless, of course, you do your job and slay her.
Quindi deve ammazzare questa principessa che se no ammazza il mondo.
Good. As long as you remain focused on your goal, it should all be smooth sailing.
Andiamo.
You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within.
Ok.
A warning before you go any further.
Dimmi tutto.
She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says. We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them. Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Entriamo nella capanna.
The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are painted in a fine layer of dust. The only furniture of note is a plain wooden table. Perched on that table is a pristine blade.
Pristine blade?
The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
Siccome non so quando devo pagare le cose per la laurea, sì. Tanto metto qua a 3.
Ok, quindi dicevamo. Quindi ora lama.
You take the blade from the table. It'd be rather difficult to slay the princess and save the world without it.
C'è qualcosa che non mi convince già. Entriamo nella cantina. Vediamo cosa succede.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below. This is an oppressive place. The air feels heavy and damp, a hint of rot filtering from the ancient wood. If the princess really lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. Her voice carries up the stairs.
Who's there?
Ooh,
She sounds dangerous. It's almost as if she's the one in charge down here.
Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation.
Don't be a stranger. It's been so long since I've had any visitors. Come on down.
You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement.
She's so coldly beautiful. Is she really a threat to the world?
Focus on the task at hand.
And there you are. Are you here to kill me or something? Then why did you bring a knife with you? How about you drop it, and then we can chat.
She makes a compelling point. What if we just dropped the blade and talked? Look at her. It's not like she's a threat. Don't you dare. It's fine. We can decide what we want to do after we talk to her. Maybe she really is a monster. Killing someone in cold blood isn't very becoming of us.
Vediamo. Ok, già comincia a essere una scelta. Uccidere così subito non mi sembra una buona idea, quindi intanto lasciamo.
The blade tumbles out of your trembling hands and drops to the floor with an unceremonious clang.
Thank you. Maybe now we can just talk.
Against your better judgment, you step forward to speak with the princess face to face, unarmed. We'll be fine.
paura adesso.
I don't know what you're hoping to accomplish here, but I can assure you there's no reasoning with her. Just make sure you don't forget about the blade on the floor. You're going to need it.
So here we are. What an awkward start to a relationship.
She hesitates before answering.
Vediamo il nome.
You can address me as Your Royal Highness, or Her Majesty. Any honorific should do, really.
Titolo
Note
onorifico.
the lack of detail. You can't trust her.
Allora. Da dove sei qua giù?
Too long.
Again, she offers no specifics. No matter how hard you try, you'll never get a straight answer out of her.
Vediamo. Allora. Stai parlando con me?
Don't jump to any weird conclusions. We're two people who have met each other. By definition, we have a relationship.
Effettivamente hai ragione. No, non va bene.
Oh, have you decided what to do with me?
No.
You know why you're here.
Ok. Sono qui per ammazzare la principessa. Ammazziamo la principessa.
Doubt, unfortunately, clouds your thoughts as you attempt to run her through. A moment of distraction and hesitation is all she needed to sidestep your thrust and deliver a catastrophic blow to your jaw.
Oh no. Mi ha menato.
It feels like you've been hit with a sledgehammer. You can feel bone grinding on bone where your jaw has
Ci ha
been
menato.
fractured.
Siamo stati menati.
Holy shit, that hurts! Though
Holy
she's
shit.
unarmed, the shock of that first strike is enough to stagger you, putting you and the princess on somewhat equal footing.
Siamo stati menati.
Your blade slashes through the air again and again, and her fists connect with your body as many times or more, each impact as heavy as that first bone-crushing hit. We can still turn this around.
Ce la possiamo fare.
You and the princess stare at each other,
Ce la possiamo
both
fare, dai.
gasping for breath, equally exhausted. You probably won't make it out of here alive, but you can at least make sure that she won't make it out of here either. Excuse me? Do you think this is what I wanted to happen? I have a duty to state the facts of the situation, and honestly, it's a miracle anyone is still standing right now. Can you not feel all those ruptured organs bouncing around in there? If the princess doesn't do our friend in herself, internal bleeding is certain to finish the job. The two of you clash for the final time. You feel your ribs break as she delivers a heavy blow, but you push through the pain, falling forward and sinking your blade deep
Ok,
into the
è
princess's heart.
morto. Adesso.
Oh,
The two of you fall to the floor.
this was fun.
The princess gasps, her voice an unhealthy rasp as her lungs start to fill with blood.
You put up more of a fight than I thought you would. But I have to wonder,
Dici tutto.
do you really think this is the end?
But
Probabilmente
you
no.
don't have time to worry over such things. Everything goes dark, and you die.
Capitolo 2. L'avversaria.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess.
Aspetta.
You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end
Aspetta,
of the
ma stiamo
world.
tornando all'inizio. Capitolo 2. Scusa, cosa? Ho già mangiato la principessa, certo quelle invece sono perché vuole finire, certo. Perché sono ancora qui?
I can assure you that you didn't slay her and that she didn't kill you. People don't just spring back to life after dying, and the two of us are meeting for the very first time.
La prima volta.
If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way. You know I can hear you, right? It's going to be a lot harder than you think to keep secrets from me.
Effettivamente.
That's fine. It doesn't matter if he can hear us. The only thing that matters is marching up to that cabin and winning. That's the spirit. There's no point in squabbling when the real threat is just up that hill.
Se abbiamo capito, noi siamo tornati qua, c'è qualcosa che non torna.
Those are two very different questions, but fine. I'll indulge you if that's what it takes to get you moving. Let's say for a moment that this really is the second time you've met me, or at least a version of me. You died last time, which probably only happened because you didn't listen to me. We did our best with the information we were given, and we did kill her. And yet you still died, didn't you? So congratulations. You've been given another chance to actually do this right.
Allora, adesso quindi
And I
cosa?
believe your other question was something along the lines of, oh, what's the point of doing anything? If you're asking that, it sounds to me like you're making the rather dangerous assumption that your actions last time around didn't have any consequences.
Quindi che facciamo?
What do you mean? Of course there weren't any consequences. We killed the princess killed us, and now everyone's right back where they started. That sounds pretty consequence-free to me.
Allora.
Yes, but in this purely hypothetical scenario, that begs the question of how you got back here. Did time simply rewind itself, or were you instead transported to a different world entirely? Had you failed to slay the princess, what would have happened to everyone in the place you left? Ugh, enough with the talking.
Voce
We've got a
capabile.
fight to win. Nothing else matters. Couldn't
Effettivamente.
agree more. The cabin and your destined confrontation with the princess awaits.
Non è più l'eroe, ma il capacchio adesso. Parliamo di questa
Just be
principessa.
quick about it.
Allora.
People locked her in that basement, and I told you what this place is. It's a path in the woods. Don't overcomplicate things.
Ok, vediamo che altro possiamo domande. Infatti, cerchiamo di capire come.
Like I said, if she killed you, it was probably because you didn't listen to me. Don't talk to her, don't trust her, just go in, do your job, and save the world.
Proviamo a fare come dice il narratore. Proviamoci a sto punto. Proviamo a sto punto a fare come ci dice il.
This is maddening. Why do you keep asking questions? There's nothing wrong with getting the full picture of what's going on here.
Ah, sono due persone diverse?
Sure there is. It's wasting time and energy that would be better spent fighting.
Sono due persone diverse? What?
I told you everything you need to know. Going into more detail would just overcomplicate an otherwise very simple situation and make your job more difficult. What else would we even need to know? We've got all the reason we need for a rematch.
Sono due persone diverse?
Exactly. The less you know about her, the better.
Ah, se lo dicite? Se lo dicite ci fidiamo. Allora, che facciamo? Andiamo.
Great. Now, if you don't mind, the whole world is waiting with bated breath for you to save it from ruin.
Sta cosa mi pare un po' sospetta, però posso andarmene via. Non andiamo verso la capanna.
A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything
Me l'hai
in
già
her power
detto.
to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says.
Ok, vediamo.
Lying and cheating doesn't sound like her at all. Not that it matters. It's not like she can lie or cheat in the middle of a fight.
Dobbiamo
Are you
menare.
sure about that?
The point of my warning wasn't to start an argument over what circumstances the princess is capable of lying in. It was to give you some broadly applicable advice. The princess will do and say whatever she thinks it will take to get her out of there, so don't trust her. Ever. Are we clear?
Proviamo a sto giro.
Crystal, let's just get on with it
Va
already.
bene, proviamo a fare come dice il narratore sto giro. Magari cambia qualcosa. Magari cambia effettivamente qualcosa sto giro.
The cabin is tighter than its exterior would suggest. Its cold stone walls press in on you,
Ma è
as if
diversa.
trying to forcefully direct you towards your destination.
È
The only
diversa.
furniture of
Aspetta.
note is a black iron altar with a pristine blade perched on its edge.
È diversa dall'altra
See?
volta.
Even the cabin has the right idea. Let's get moving.
C'è qualcosa
The
che non
blade is
torna.
your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
Aspetta. È diversa dall'ultima
Very
volta.
different. Maybe that's because you haven't actually been here. I hope this means you'll finally drop that ridiculous past life nonsense. You haven't died, and you certainly haven't been killed by the princess.
O il narratore non me la racconta giusta.
So focus up. The world is depending on you.
Il narratore non me la racconta giusta comunque. Vediamo lo specchio.
You walk up to the wall next to the basement door. It's a wall. There isn't much to see here.
Il
What
narratore
are
non
you
me la
talking about? This isn't a wall. It's a mirror. Or at least it'll be a mirror once we wipe off that layer of grime.
C'è qualcosa che non mi torna
Reach
qua.
forward and rub your hand against the cabin wall. I hope you know how ridiculous you look right now.
C'è qualcosa che non mi torna qua.
But there was a mirror a second ago. Now it's gone, so all of us can stop arguing about it and get to fighting. You take the blade from the altar. It would be difficult to slay the princess and save the world without a weapon.
C'è qualcosa di molto sus. Estremamente sus. Prima la cappella non era così.
The door to the basement
Non era-
creaks open,
non era così.
revealing a rough stone staircase, its walls pressing at your sides and tightening as you descend. The air seeping from below is heavy and oppressive, with an almost sulfuric odor to it. If the princess lives here, slaying her would probably be doing her a favor.
Her
Her fierce voice carries up the
non
stairs.
è che il narratore fa parte delle
Is
illusioni della...
that another challenger?
Another?
Finally. It's been ages since I've had a good fight.
This isn't what she sounded like last time. Her voice is a little deeper, almost threatening. Good. Sounds like my kind of princess. As much as I appreciate the enthusiasm, just make sure you don't let your bloodlust get to your head. You need to stay focused and keep your wits about you. Remember, you're here to slay the princess, not to have a good fight.
Allora,
As you descend the final step, the form of the princess comes into view. A large shackle leading from her wrist to the basement wall.
qualcosa non
Looks
va.
like she could rip those chains out of the wall without a second thought.
Qualcosa non torna qua.
Oh, it's you again. I've been hoping you'd
Di
find your way
nuovo.
back here. Good to see that death doesn't stick for either of us.
Lei si ricorda. Lei si ricorda di me.
And you brought your little knife, too. Yes.
E adesso mi...
I'm going to have fun breaking you into little pieces.
E mo che succede?
Okay, fine. Let's say for a moment I believe you.
For all we know, whatever happened to you last time was just a fluke, and beyond that, do you know who doesn't remember anything that happened last time? Me. I don't remember what happened last time.
Are you okay?
Of course I'm not okay. As far as we're all concerned, the fate of my world is still very much on the line. Not all of us have the luxury of jumping over to a parallel universe the second we die.
allora ti ricordi di me?
Oh, I remember you all right. Best 3 minutes of my life. So, why don't we do it again?
See? She wants to fight us again. There's no reason for us to stand around talking.
Dai, ci curiamo.
Finally ready to complete your destined task, you launch off the wet stone floor of the basement and catapult yourself headlong towards the princess. Here we go. Let's make this count.
Ci curiamo a sto punto.
Oh, we'll make it count all right.
C'è qualcosa che non va.
As you bridge the gap, your blade slashes across the princess's chest, splitting skin and drawing a jagged line of bright red blood. She's
Ok.
unfazed by your onslaught. Her expression barely changes as her fist collides with your ribs, cracking them like twigs and driving you right back down to the basement floor. You can hear her chains snap as you
Oh,
struggle
no.
to recover from the impact.
Oh no.
She almost looks disappointed in us. Why is she disappointed in us?
Oh, you don't actually get it, do you? That knife may be sharp, but you clearly don't want to kill me. It's not fun if you hesitate. It's not fun if you try to trick me and make me bleed out. It's only fun if you go straight for the heart. You need to put everything you have into seeing me dead. Or what's the point? So don't be afraid. Don't hesitate. Kill me.
Don't let her get in your head. Reincarnation or not, this world needs you to win. She's huge, but that probably means she's slower than us. Take it slow, think it through, and don't panic. Bleeding her out is our best course of action. Don't listen to them. She understands something that they don't. The only way to win, the only way out of this is through her. You push yourself off the ground and attack the princess, trying to bait an opening.
Dai. Non penso
Do
funzioni.
your best to outplay her, slashing out and leaving red cuts in the tattered remains of her white dress. But you have little room to maneuver. For every glancing blow you manage to land, she slams you against the wall in retaliation, each impact threatening to be the last. This weak little dance isn't working. Just toughen up and overpower her. She's throwing us around like a ragdoll. I think overpowering her is a little out of the question.
Ci sta menando.
Did you think you could stop me with a few cuts? All this dancing around is doing nothing but annoying me. I own this place, and I own you.
The princess's arm shoots forward, her palm wrapping around your head,
Yeah.
fingers gripping your skull.
How disappointing.
She squeezes,
La
pressure
nostra
unbearable as her
testa.
fingers dig into your scalp. The last thing you hear is the unsettling crack of your skull and the sickening churn of what was your grey matter. Everything goes dark, and you die.
Aia. Capitolo 3, la corona del lago.
You're on a path in the wood. If you weren't so damned afraid of what she'd do to you, we wouldn't have died back there. Fear is good. Fear keeps us alive.
Braccato.
We died because you didn't have enough of it.
Oh no, ci stiamo moltiplicando.
So what? You'd have us cower in a corner?
Oh no.
No, but that place suits her better than it suits us. She's big. We can't hope to find holes and openings down there. We need more room if we're going to survive.
C'è qualcosa che non torna.
Are you suggesting luring her into the wall?
C'è qualcosa che non torna. C'è qualcosa che non torna qua. Ci stavamo le nostre
Are
voci
you
qua.
not challenging us on all the looping? Have
have you known about it the whole time? Are you the same one we've been talking to since the beginning?
Aspetta, c'è qualcosa che non va qui. Le voci si stanno moltiplicando. Qualcosa qua non mi piace assolutamente per niente.
Sorry to disappoint, what I'm sure must feel like a grand revelation, but that's not what's going on here. We've never met. It doesn't matter. We could go in circles forever. I don't like staying still for too long. Let's get to the cabin, see this through. It's good to know that at least one of you is still capable of reason. We may have the same destination, but we're not the same. You are still an other, and I don't trust you.
Effettivamente non abbiamo parlato di quanto sia diverso questo posto, non li finire nemmeno un bosco, è come se la sua influenza si fosse riversata nel
It's
mondo.
evidence of one of many ticking clocks. You can't let her spread any further.
Qualcosa qua non va.
Always changing. She changed, the cabin changed, we've changed. Why wouldn't the woods change too? Because they're not
Effettivamente.
supposed to have changed. This is supposed to be a path in the woods. If it's not, it means something's gone horribly wrong.
Vediamo.
You're the chooser. The best we can do is advise. But we can help if you let us. These are just powerless thoughts and opinions. You don't need to let them drag you and the world to ruin.
Ok. Che famo? Procedi. Tutte le risposte portano là.
It isn't long before you find yourself at the end of the path, staring up the hill at the cabin. I hope you've given serious thought to your predicament.
Cosa? Ok.
No last advice for us? No words of warning? From what I gather, you've heard it all before. There's no use screaming into the wind.
Effettivamente.
I don't know. Screaming sounds pretty good right about now. I could use a little catharsis.
Un po' di catarsi.
Catharsis is for when we're finished. For now, we need to hold it out in front of us. Something to chase.
Entriamo. Vediamo come è cambiata sulla
The
capanna.
interior of the cabin is suffocatingly tight. More of a glorified tunnel than a building. Its stone walls squeeze against your sides, leaving you no choice but to press forward.
Quali erano i warning? È scossa per l'asse magneto volante.
The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you're going to do this right. See? We have even less space than before. We need space or she'll kill us. And the only space is out there. Take it. Maybe it'll go away again. For something to go away, it would have to be there to begin with. And let me assure you, there's no mirror here. The only thing at the end of the room is the door to the basement. No use arguing. Mirror or not, we need to be there. The why we pick doesn't matter. I agree with the freak. Let's get a move on already. And worst comes to worst, we can smash it.
Pigliamo la lama. Pigliamo la lama e
You
andiamo.
take the blade from the altar. It will be difficult to slay the princess and save the world without a weapon. Good. There's no overcoming her without it. We need every part of us to survive, and that steel claw is as much a part of us as any.
Ok, andiamo.
You step forward and approach the door to the basement, hesitating before you open it.
as if you don't see it. You're rather committed to the bit, aren't you? The door's right there, it's right in front of you.
La porta allo
This
specchio.
really is just like last time. It smells of nothing, yet it's still there.
Proviamo lo specchio, vediamo se
Reach
c'è.
forward and drag your hand across the door leading to the basement. As if on command, it slowly slides open, scraping against the floor as it reveals the dim path ahead. Why am I not surprised?
Ma effettivamente.
It was in our way, and now it's not. That's all that matters. Before you is what may as well be a sheer cliff face. There are enough footholds that you'll be able to clamber your way to the bottom, but it will require careful effort.
Molta cautela, vediamo.
The air hissing up from below is warm and wet, like the breath of an enemy locked in close quarters. If the princess lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. Her voice, bold and fierce and impatient, echoes from the chamber below.
Do you have more fight in you than last time? That was such a disappointing show. I know you can do better than that.
Go to her. Rile her up. If she's angry, she'll make mistakes.
No, secondo me no.
That's not how this works. I'm all chained up, remember? How about you come down here and fight me?
Those chains were nothing to her last time. And there'll be nothing to her this time. But we need to show ourselves first to make her boil over. Fine by me.
Andiamo.
You've
Vediamo.
nowhere to go but down. You start the difficult journey, gripping the stone, lowering yourself foot by grueling foot. But soon, there is solid ground beneath you. Remember, every crack and crevice will need to be faster than her. You turn to face what lies at the end of the narrow tunnel.
Oh.
The princess, imposing and tightly muscled, grins back at you from the darkness. Her face widens into a broad grin.
There you are, knife in hand. How thrilling! Attack me, bleed me, twist the blade in my flesh, break your bones against my body. I want a real challenge this time.
We can't get that close. She'll kill us in the tight space, steel claw or not. Make her come to us, stand beyond her chains, and let her become frenzied. She'll break them. Then we run. I really don't like the sound of this. It's the only way we live.
Well, what are you waiting for? If we're gonna do this right, you can't be scared. You need to want this as much as I do. So go on. Make the first move. Don't keep me waiting.
Vediamo. Colpo dritto.
Change your plans, boys. Impatient. This is her home, not ours. You're going to let her kill us. You charge headlong into the princess, blade flashing in the dim light of the basement.
Facciamo così. Forza venuta.
Yes, 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 yes! Finally, you get it!
For a moment, the scales feel balanced, each of you inflicting debilitating wounds on the other, striking in a dizzying synchronicity. But it isn't long before they
Ecco
take her shape. The cuts and bruises she's inflicted seem little more than superficial, barely so much as slowing her down as she continues her onslaught.
Mi sa che non funziona.
You, in contrast, finding it harder to stand as your body gradually becomes less responsive, less powerful, less stable. You can tell she's trying to make it last, but all it would take is one meaningful strike, the coup de grace.
This was good, but you could have been so much better. I'm beyond you now.
Here it comes. I'll see you all on the other side.
Ah. Ah? Ma l'altra parte non arriva. Qualcosa l'ha portata via, lasciando qualcos'altro al suo posto.
She's gone. Where did she go? Should we try and find her? And there's that mirror again. Why is it here? Why now?
C'è qualcosa che non torna. C'è qualcosa che non torna qua.
She is. Does that mean the world ended? It hasn't ended. We're still here.
Dov'è il narratore?
The world didn't end. We're still here. Come on. We just need to keep...
You're right. She's gone. It's just us and that awful thing.
It's like it's mocking us.
Let's just stay still. There's something dreadful about it. I don't think you should. That thing reeks of death.
Screw the mirror. We just need to find the princess.
I'm begging you, don't do this. It's different now. It feels... I don't know,
Da chi sta parlando adesso?
final.
Ti avvicini allo specchio. Guarda il tuo riflesso. Il silenzio alleggia mentre avanzi. Loro non ci sono più, ma lo specchio rimane. E ora che tu veda cosa si c'è al suo interno. Sei tu? Sei tu. Sei solo in un luogo vuoto. Qui regna la quiete. La capanna? What? Così ero sulla capanna. Tu ti trovi alla capanna. Avvicinati.
Something finds me in the long quiet and brings me the gift of a fragile vessel.
Un fragile ricettacolo. Distruggi il tuo corpo. What? Tu
I
come
am
sei?
solitary lights in an empty city. What are you?
Che cosa sono?
Thoughts without connections. A dim and nascent network. I wish to be more.
Essere di più? Cosa pensi che io
I
sia?
think that you are like me. We are oceans, reduced to shallow creeks.
Tu sei la principessa?
She is part of me, and part of me is her. You speak in circles. Does it matter where one thing begins and another ends?
Questa è la fine del mondo?
How can the world have ended if we are talking?
Se tu conosci il narratore?
You are the only thing I have ever known. The space we're in is vacant. Nothing comes here but us.
Cosa succederà ora?
Nothing, as we are. But I know that there are worlds beyond us, and that we are meant to reach them. There is no exit, but this vessel is a creature of perception. She can make you forget, if only you believe her to be able to. Bring me more perspectives, so that I may be whole, and perhaps then we will know our freedom.
Fa parte dell'inganno questo?
You ask of things that cannot be done. To destroy is merely to reshape, to remold.
È vero.
How can I know? I am flickers in something sprawling and unilluminated.
Quanto dimenticherò?
Everything. Until we meet again.
Tutto.
I have not lived. I am not afraid to die.
È vero.
Then we will be here forever, as we are now. Unfinished, dry, hollow. If you need time, then I'll wait with you.
Cosa dobbiamo fare adesso? Aspetta per sempre. Ok, andiamo.
She asks that I tell you to remember her.
Lei? Si
You
ricordarla.
won't.
Cade il buio, muori. Ah, così diretto. Capitolo 1. What?
You're on a path in the woods,
Il vero segreto quindi
and
si
at the
apre.
end of that
Lo
path
saprai quando lo
is a
vedrai.
cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a
What?
princess. You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Cosa sta succedendo? Nota bene. Puoi saltare a cui un dialogo a cui hai già assistito premendo il tasto tab sulla tastiera o R1 sul controller.
Yes, but you'll have to slay her before you get it. Of course I haven't. Why would I even consider that? Nobody wants the world to end. I mean, maybe some people do, like nihilists, or very, very evil people, but surely you're not one of those, right?
Right?
Don't mention it. It's all part of the job.
Vediamo.
You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within. A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat. The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are painted in a fine layer of dust. The only furniture of note is a plain wooden table. Perched on that table is a pristine blade.
Ora è
The
tornato a
blade is
posto.
your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
Proviamo a fare le cose fatte in modo giusto. Prendi la lama.
You take the blade from the table. It'd be rather difficult to slay the princess and save the world without it.
Entriamo nella cantina.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below. This is an oppressive place. The air feels heavy and damp, a hint of rot filtering from the ancient wood. If the princess really lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. Her voice carries up the stairs.
Who's there?
She sounds dangerous. It's almost as if she's the one in charge down here.
Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation.
Siamo ritornati all'inizio. Per seguirci per le
Good.
scale.
You're still listening to reason.
Non devo parlarle.
You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement.
She's so coldly beautiful. Is she really a threat to the world?
Focus on the task at hand.
And there you are. Are you here to kill me or something?
You step forward, your grip on
Non
the blade
parliamo.
tightening as you steel your resolve.
Oh? No talking then? Fine. What even makes you think you can kill me? I'm probably chained up in this basement for a reason, right? And if that knife is the only weapon you have, you'll have to get close enough to use it. So, you should just drop it. Best not to risk finding out what I can do.
Non la facciamoci
She's
ingannare.
armed. If you hesitate now, it'll be too late. End this.
Proviamo adesso. È sicuro.
You go into this expecting to die. You're going to die.
Hesitating? Why don't you drop the knife and the two of us can be civilized with each other?
Vai.
You charge the princess, blade trembling in your hand, but you've already lost the battle. She casually sidesteps your thrust before knocking you to the ground with a single blow from her elbow.
We shouldn't have hesitated.
But she doesn't stop there. She kicks you a few times for good measure, the pointed tip of her shoes feeling like a pickaxe against your fracturing bones, making sure you stay down. As you lie, crushed and broken on the basement floor, the princess kneels on your throat with the kind of weight you didn't think her slight frame could possibly possess. As you gasp for air, she eyes you with an intense curiosity. You shouldn't have let that fear creep into your heart. You had the upper hand, and now look at you.
Is this really the best you could do? Look at you. Completely broken. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little disappointed.
Non va bene.
She applies more pressure, slowly squeezing what's left of your life out of your lungs.
This is the end, isn't it?
I'm afraid it is.
Everything goes dark, and you die.
Siamo morti. Capitolo la torre.
You're on a path in the woods.
Non sono in bagno. Stiamo dicendo.
You're here to slay her.
Io devo il finito male che succede. Ah. questo? CPC lampeggiante non visibile. Se io adesso faccio una cosa e me ne vado, che succede?
You're right. We should just leave.
Affranto.
There's nothing we can do to stop her, so we might as well enjoy what little time we have left.
Seriously? You're just going to turn around and leave? Do you even know where you're going? Fine. I suppose you just quietly continue down the path away from the cabin. That's strange. It looks like this path also leads to the cabin. How convenient. Everything's back on track again. Maybe the world can still be saved after all. That's great to hear. As long as you bring that fiery attitude to princess slaying, I think this will all resolve splendidly.
So much for getting out of here. If that's what you want, I guess I don't have a say here.
Vediamo come cambia adesso.
The interior of the cabin is larger and more grandiose than its humble exterior would suggest. The only furniture of note is a massive marble altar with a pristine blade perched on its edge. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right. Why do we feel so small? We don't feel small. We are small.
Ho capito adesso il senso del gioco. La tua percezione. Allora, se questo gioco gioca con le mie percezioni di come io percepisco la cosa, cambia anche quello che faccio in base a ciò che percepisco possa succedere. Se noi ci sentiamo piccoli, se noi non ci sentiamo all'altezza di ammazzare la principessa, tutto apparirà così. Prendiamo la lama.
You take the blade from the altar.
Ciao.
It would be difficult to slay the prince.
Se questo giro non tocchiamo lo specchio, cosa succede? E infatti lo specchio è scomparso.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a spiral staircase. Its steps almost as deep as you are tall. The smell of incense drifts up from below. For a moment, you almost feel at ease. This is actually kind of nice.
It's still a stone basement. If the princess lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor.
Her booming voice rolls up the stairs.
Is that a guest I hear? Don't linger on the stairs. Come down and witness me.
Admire me?
You weren't kidding when you said it was booming. She wasn't like this last time.
What last
We
time?
need to get down there. She wants us to see her. We need to see her.
Should we be worried about your sudden change in attitude? Just a few minutes ago you were going on about how pointless everything was. Now you want to go down there.
It doesn't matter what that little voice says. He's not the one making the decisions. Though if his ramblings get you to the princess, they get you to the princess.
Poi seguiamo giù per le scale.
Making your way down the spiral staircase is a time-consuming and exhausting effort, every step requiring you to clamber over one edge before dropping to the next. But soon the end comes into view, and you tumble to the bottom, entering the vast, temple-like room beyond. The princess towers over you,
Wow.
almost glowing in the weak starlight, her figure framed by a stained glass window. Her long hair billows around her, and a chain binds her wrist to the far wall. The chain is nothing to her. It might as well be a toy for all the good it would do. I told you it was pointless to resist her.
The little bird has returned to me. I wonder what he wants. You brought that knife again, even though you know it's useless. Such charming audacity. Drop it.
As if on command, the blade slips from your grasp. It clatters uselessly to the floor.
Non è quello che ho fatto.
But we didn't drop it. We decided to grip it tighter, remember? Are you really just going to let that happen to us? I have a duty to report facts as facts, and the fact is that you dropped the blade. Of course we dropped it. She's so much more than us. You wouldn't understand what it feels like to be in her presence.
Oh, I understand what's going on, and you'd better snap yourself out of it.
Kneel. Oh, are you still trying to defy me? I said kneel.
Your legs buckle, and your knees hit the floor.
That's my good little bird. Now,
Passerotto.
why don't we talk? The last time we met, you couldn't even scratch me. And yet here you are again, trying to succeed where you've already catastrophically failed. What draws you back here beyond the empty halls of death? Speak.
The last time we met, nobody should have met her before this. You should be the first. You're the only one I'd trust to deal with her.
Then you shouldn't have trusted us. There was nothing we could do to stop her then, and there's nothing we can do to stop her now.
He's being melodramatic, but yeah, we've been here before, and she absolutely destroyed us. What are we even supposed to do to stop her? That's worrying. Whatever you do, don't tell her why you're here. It's best not to give her any ideas.
Silenzio.
Do you think holding shut your beak is enough to stop me from prying it open? Do you think your skull can save your thoughts from being seen? You're less broken than I thought. Perhaps you need another lesson in submitting to your betters.
Oh no.
Pick up that needle.
Do it. It's what she wants. No objections here. I don't know what she's planning, and I don't like that we don't know what she's planning, but we might as well pick up the blade. As your eye falls on the blade, you feel a weight. Some divine hand that sits unperceived by your senses, but that manages to push you towards its desires like an unseen puppeteer.
Non abbiamo altra scelta. Non abbiamo altra scelta. E se tornassimo in... Fai una cosa qua. Salva. Fai questo salvataggio. Se tornassimo indietro, che cosa succede?
A warning before you go any further. She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you.
We might as well just pledge ourselves to her and stop pretending we're capable of doing anything in this city. Can we tone down the pessimism just a smidge? I'm not being a pessimist. You're being annoying. Just ignore their bickering, and whatever you do, don't pledge yourself to her. I cannot stress enough how absolutely catastrophic that would be for everyone, yourself included. I agree. If she's wrongfully imprisoned, then we should rescue her, but if he's telling the truth, we shouldn't just hand her the world on a silver platter. Rescue her? Given the stakes of the situation, there isn't really a difference between rescuing her and pledging yourself to her. Either would be terrible. So please try to ignore both of those knuckleheads and focus on saving the world. Let's not make this harder than it has to be.
Andiamo. Entriamo nella
If that's
capanna.
what you want. I guess I don't have a say here.
Ok.
The
Adesso.
interior of the cabin is larger and more grandiose than its humble exterior would suggest. The only furniture of note is a mat.
Ok. Se noi ci avviciniamo allo
Walk up to
specchio.
the wall next to the basement door. It's a wall. There isn't much to see here.
What are you talking about? This isn't a wall. It's a mirror. Or at least it'll be a mirror once we wipe off that layer of grime.
You reach forward and rub your hand against the cabin wall. I hope you know how ridiculous you look right now.
We should count ourselves lucky. Some things are better left unseen.
You take the
Andiamo. Qua è tutto uguale? Qua è tutto uguale, immagino.
As if on command, the blade slips from your grasp.
Sì, qua è uguale, mi sa.
Oh, are you?
Qua è tutto uguale.
Do you think holding shut your beak is enough to stop me?
You reach forward and grasp the blade.
Stand.
This one's easy. See? This isn't so bad.
Okay, yeah. We can do that. We were probably going to stand anyway.
You can feel a creaking tension between body and will as you slowly rise to your feet, like two foes forced into an unhappy truce. The princess eyes you with soft contemplation. The moment seems to last a lifetime, the silent anticipation of what's to come dragging out the long, painful seconds. But all silences are broken eventually.
To defy me is to claim we stand on level ground. We do not. You are quiet shadow, while I am brilliant radiance. Take that knife in your hand and slit your throat.
What?
What?
You don't have to listen to her. You're armed. Just steel your nerves, step forward, and end this.
Oh, we'll end this all right.
No, in quel senso.
Your hand lifts the blade and brings it towards your throat. Okay, I apologize for the unclear language. End her.
Ammazza la principessa.
Your body is sluggish and unresponsive, actively fighting against you, but you do your best to stagger forward. One step at a time, you move towards the princess.
Slitting your throat would have been a mercy, but it seems you're in need of a harsher lesson.
Mo cosa succede?
Plunge that knife into your lungs.
I'm sorry.
No.
Don't. As you take another step forward, the blade digs into your ribs, slicing through flesh with ease. It somehow feels like an entirely natural thing to do, while the simple act of walking has become an arduous impossibility. Then it slides back out, the wound burning as a small hiss of air escapes through the fresh orifice. Blood fills your lungs.
Now, Do it again. Keep doing it until I give you permission to stop.
Those are just words. You don't have to listen to her.
No.
It's what she wants. You, heroic one, what are you doing? Don't just let this happen. Stop him from killing you. I'm on it. Your other hand locks around your wrist, struggling to keep it from perforating vital organs. But the blade still flails towards you, managing to slice bits of skin that plop to the floor to join the growing pile of blood and gore beneath you. Despite the pain, you manage to keep yourself in one piece, at least for now.
What a pitiful display. A wounded little bird thinking it can defy a god. It doesn't have to be like this. It doesn't have to hurt so much. You can choose a gentle end. You can choose to leave that punctured vessel for the next.
Vai.
Or you can pathetically struggle against yourself until the floor of this temple is painted with the bloody impressions of your futility.
You continue to approach the princess, even as the repeated gouges of your blade expose bone and muscle to the open air of the basement.
You know, this would be a lot easier if you gave us a hand.
My influence only goes so far, and I can only juggle so many things at once. The best I can do right now is to continue to drive you forward. Believe me, this whole ordeal would be so much easier if I didn't have to contend with free will.
You're the one making things difficult. You're the one making us hurt. She doesn't want to hurt us. She's just doing what she has to.
Stop.
As you finish crossing the room, you fall to your knees at the princess's feet, your chest heaving as your blood pools in the crevices of the stone floor, the coppery taste coating your throat. The princess kneels down, lifting your chin with her finger as her face lowers to yours.
Your devotion is misplaced. You've surrendered to delusion. But something about your defiant spirit speaks to me. You are different than you were before. Perhaps, if you've learned your lesson, I can spare you from the release of death. There's a place at my side for you, if you'll have it. Not as an equal, but as something worthy to be kept. A priest, perhaps, or a pet.
No, non è
Well,
così.
that's the meaning, isn't it? Yes, how thoughtful of her. It's a mercy. Take it.
No.
I think he's given up whatever say he had at the start of all this. At least one of you is sane. She's within striking distance, and she's only negotiating now because she knows you have what it takes to put an end to her. Seize the moment before it's too late.
No.
Yes, though your body trembles, struggling to defend itself in the face of the princess's overwhelming will, you finally manage to break through, darting to her side before she can react. The wind of your freedom rushes through you, and you channel it into a decisive blow, stabbing into the soft flesh of her ankle and severing the tendons in an act of unyielding defiance. She falls to the floor, crashing unceremoniously to her knees. But you don't give her any time to recover. Your heart pounding with determination, you plunge your blade into her chest. As you find your target again and again, she laughs, crude emotion breaking through her once stony composure as your blade cuts her flesh. We can do this, can't we? You always could. The decision to give you this task was not made lightly. You're here for a reason.
It's not too late to pick up the pieces. But it's not too late to toss that blade aside and beg for forgiveness.
Ma stati zitto.
Shut up.
Infatti.
I can't believe you would actually strike me. You heathen! You worm! You defiler! You don't know the consequences of your arrogance!
Before you can strike the final blow, the princess lashes out, knocking you off your feet. There's an unsettling wet pop as your spine breaks, numbness and pain spreading through your body. As you rebound towards the ceiling in a moment of disorientated lightness, she drives her fist into your chest. Your body is crushed as she pulverizes you into the floor, the ground itself breaking from the impact. You lie there, broken, beyond pain, unable to even see what she's done to you. But the princess is succumbing to her own wounds as well. She looks down upon her body in abject horror and disgust.
You made me use my hands. I can feel myself twisting into something new, something dull, something defiled. What have you done to me?
You're monsters and conspirators. I can't bear to watch this.
The princess has been nothing but cruel to you. You should feel liberated by her fall.
Sì.
But I don't feel liberated. I feel empty.
Il sottone
Aside
lo
from the
lasciamo da un'altra
pain,
parte.
I feel fine.
Ah, assassino vinto. Ammazza Kitty superiore. Nuova
Her
achievement.
glassy eyes watch, unblinking, yet somehow still full of anguish and fear, as the two of you perish together.
I suppose we were never gonna get a happy ending here, were
Eh.
we?
Don't let those be your final thoughts. You saved the world. That's worth something.
Tanto mo torniamo all'inizio.
Regardless of how you feel about it, it's finally over.
Va bene.
Thank you. Everything goes dark,
Ok.
and you die.
Va bene. Ok. Capitolo terzo. La furia. Dove cazzo siamo adesso?
And at the end of the path, okay, what the hell is that?
Ma ti vuoi stare zitto?
I think he's upset.
And what's he got to be upset about? We just killed a god.
Exactly. You heathens destroyed the most beautiful thing that ever was and ever will be.
I can't say I have much sympathy for you. She was bad for us and you almost got us killed.
You're being too generous. He did get us killed. Alright, enough chatter. Got a thing I'm supposed to do, and if you don't mind, I'd like to do it without any more interruptions. Okay, great, you're listening. You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a...
If your thing is telling us about the princess, don't waste your breath. We know all about her. It's hardly a path in the woods at this point, is it?
Look, if the world around you is changing, especially all the way out here, then that means you're nearing the point of no return. Whatever happens next, that's it. There won't be any more do-overs. So you'd better take things seriously.
Ok. Sono direzioni. Ok. Allora. Ma da come va sembra che tutti. Ok, ok, andiamo dentro sta capanna.
Good.
Ok.
We're all on the same page. It isn't long before you find yourself at the end of the path, staring up at the cabin on the hill. You'll find the princess within, as I'm sure you already know.
Però la cosa strana è che adesso a questo punto il narratore si ricorda che ci sia già stata una seconda volta, probabilmente.
Final words of advice?
Intuito
Don't
dal...
waste any more time. I'm sure that any advice I give
la co-
at this point is something you've already heard.
La cosa particolare è che a un certo punto qua tipo la cosa che ho capito di questo gioco fino a questo punto è che le voci si moltiplicano sulla base della scorsa esperienza.
Sì,
Cioè se
mi si è beccato l'affranto. Non so se hai trovato altro prima.
Allora, prima ho beccato il caparbio e un altro. Ho beccato, cioè, prima c'è il caparbio e un altro tizio che non mi ricordo. Aspetta. Prima, il pazzo che ho beccato prima è tipo quella dove la principessa diventava sempre più demoniata e poi entrava dentro lo specchio. E adesso. E qua adesso, per qualche motivo, abbiamo esitato un attimino sulla principessa. Al primo giro qua la principessa ci ha praticamente ammazzato senza che noi potessimo fare niente. Quindi al secondo giro c'era la versione paurosa della principessa. E adesso perché ci siamo ribellati al suo controllo, abbiamo ammazzato una divinità e siamo qua con la Franto che rompe i coglioni e noi che dobbiamo ammazzare la principessa.
Ok.
We need to be tough right now. You're making it so much harder than it has to be. So stop whining.
Adesso siamo tipo nella qualcosa che sembra tipo corteccia cerebrale.
Sì, sembra parte
The
di...
interior of the cabin is a place that feels long
O
forgotten.
quello o siamo tipo in
There is
Alien.
once an elegance to its construction, carved marble columns holding a high arched roof, vaulted windows letting in
Aspetta.
weak
Ah,
starlight.
che era giusto il coltello.
But that is how it was. Now there is a growth that has overtaken it. A viscous fluid seeps from cracks in the stone walls, and it congeals into chaotic streaks of writhing nerves and wet clumps of living meat. That's horrible. You did this.
Ma te ti vuoi
One
sta
feature of note
zitto?
is a pulsating pedestal, a pristine blade perched on its edge. The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
Sì, sì, bla bla bla. Andiamo, ok, qui. Lo specchio ho capito che lo vediamo soltanto noi. Pigliamo sta lama.
You take the blade from the pedestal. It will be difficult to slay the princess and save the world without a weapon. Good. Nothing feels better than gripping cold steel.
Ci avviciniamo allo specchio.
You step forward and approach the door to the basement, hesitating before you open it. Almost as if you don't see it. But you must, because it's right there in front of you. All we see is a damn mirror. It really is, just like last time. Are we really hallucinating? Why here? Why now?
Smash it. Smash it to pieces. It's the only thing keeping us from her.
Don't you want to know what we'll see in there? We won't be able to see anything if we smash it. Nah, I'm with him on this one. Smash it! Let's get violent already.
Io non mi fido di questi.
The mirror isn't real, so how you handle it doesn't matter, aside from wasting dangerous amounts of time.
Lo specchio lo vediamo soltanto noi, quindi apriamo lo specchio.
You reach forward and drag your hand across the door leading to the basement.
Credo.
As if on
Ecco.
command, it slowly slides open, scraping against the stone floor, its ancient hinges moaning as it reveals the dim path ahead. Why am I not surprised? You step forward into the darkness. The stairs leading down to the basement are at once both narrow and grandiose. A high vaulted ceiling stretches up into a gloom beyond your sight, while walls wet with tumorous growths press in uncomfortably at your sides. You feel both unprotected and trapped, at once exposed and claustrophobic.
Allora, arrivato a questo punto, se ho capito come funziona sto gioco, teoricamente adesso qua al posto della principessa ci sarà qualche sorta di entità eldritica strana e Lovecraftiana probabilmente. Però vediamo.
The air is thick, its odor an oppressive violence. The metallic scent of fresh blood twisting with the nauseating embers of charred remains. If the princess lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor.
L'hai detto già 700 volte.
Bellowing rage roars up the stairs.
Was severing the tendons of my ascension not enough for you? Was it not enough to rend my divine heart? Come, see the horrors you've wrought upon my flesh, and feel my hands set upon your throat. See how you've soured my once divine melody.
She's so angry with us. Why? Why did you desecrate her? Why couldn't I stop you?
You've got to stop thinking about her like that. It isn't doing anyone any good. She's not some untouchable god. She's an abomination, and we're going to put an end to her once and for all.
Whatever she is now is our fault. If she's an abomination, then what does that make us?
It doesn't matter what we are. She needs slaying, and we've got the means to do it, so let's get a move on. If I might interject, you didn't make her into an abomination. She's always been what she is. It's why you're here, and it's why your task is so important.
Proseguiamo giù per le scale. Ma che c'è?
You make your way to the bottom of the stairs. The chamber's walls are
Ah, dai,
painted
credevo
in
peggio.
a deep, sickening red that drips down in clotted streams onto the charred corpses that make up its floor. This place reeks of torment, of ripped skin and burning bone. The princess stands in its center, muscles flayed and bare and weeping, draped in a tattered dress of her own skin. Her heart beats from its place in her open chest.
Do you know what I'm going to do to you?
Ci ammazza un'altra volta.
There's not so much a moment of hesitation before she steps forward. Her chains pull taut, holding fast as she strains against them. The cuff around her wrist digs deeper into her skin. Blood drips from the place where metal meets flesh. And then, with a nauseating sound, the skin tears. It plops to the ground. She pulls her red, glistening arm free from her bindings. She is loose, and she is coming for you.
10.
It's the punishment you all deserve for what you did to her. It's the punishment I deserve for letting it happen.
Screw that. We can win. We've done it before, and we'll do it again, only this time we'll make it out the other side. Hell, she's practically done most of the work for us.
Vai.
Your heart free of fear, you charge towards the princess, your eyes locked on each other, both of you prepared to lay down your very essence in one blow. It's now or never. Let's make it a beautiful blaze of glory. With a horrifying squelch, you are unwound.
No, that's our stuff. She can't just do that.
She just did. Unfortunate, I know, but reality is reality.
Beh,
You should all just be grateful she's decided to keep us alive. Even in her defilement, she is merciful.
We're not out for the count just yet.
ridammi le mie interiori. Aspetta. Non dobbiamo parlare. Andiamo avanti.
Skin flayed and organs flapping, you charge towards the princess.
Tanto moriremo a prescindere, non abbiamo bisogno degli organi.
That's right. She'll never stop us.
Still, you defy your god. I've made the mistake of underestimating your resolve before. Never again.
As you swing for her heart, what's left of you explodes.
Siamo esplosi?
So that's it.
Ah,
It's
così.
over, just like that. Of course it's over. It's been over since the very first moment we laid eyes on her.
Siamo letteralmente
This is the
esplosi.
final note of your discordant melody. You will not return again, because you will live in that single tone forever.
No! It's not over. We're a god killer. We've returned from death itself twice.
Didn't you hear her? We're not dead.
What's the difference? From many perspectives, there isn't one. But functionally, that is, from your perspective, the difference is massive. You are entirely laid bare, spread to each corner of the room, yet you are wholly aware of the state you're in, incapable of movement, but entirely capable of perception. In fact, perceiving your state is the only thing you can currently do. You are preserved, perfectly, in the amber of her torment.
We're more than this. We've lost bodies before. We just have to lose this one and make another.
Abbandoniamo il
Absolutely
corpo.
not. I refuse to let you just decide to die with your task unfinished. If you die here, the world is doomed.
Nonostante tutto, però, muori. Per un grande sollievo quando smetti di percepire ogni singolo tuo brandello. Eppure sei ancora qui.
Your Honor, where the hell are you? Are you already at the Princess?
Ah?
This place is different. Rotten. Death all
Braccato.
around us. I want to go back.
So you've returned already, and I remain here. Is this our final destination?
The Princess tilts her head to look at you, and with a gesture, you are unwound.
Ti disfa?
Again? Already?
Clearly, I left you with too much room last time. Perhaps this cell will hold you better.
You know what to do. Again.
Moriamo ancora. Ancora una volta vanno il tuo corpo e ancora una volta ti trovi qui ma non nello stesso posto.
Your Honor, she is gorgeous.
Invaghito.
Absolutely divine.
You, guy who describes things, you better start saying what we do this time.
And what are you doing?
Attacking her, obviously.
Right. You charge towards the Princess and...
There is no spark in you, only matter devoid of life.
you explode.
Siamo esplosi, perfetto. Ti lascio andare e poi ti ritrovi di nuovo a vivere.
You're on a path.
We are not on a fucking path. I have no idea.
Ingannato? Quante cazzo di voci ci sono adesso?
Fight, so act like it.
So you are. Okay, you dive towards the princess.
Andiamo
and
contro.
We're unwound.
Ci disfa?
Yes. Her head swivels creakily on her neck, fire in her eyes as your body...
Per quanto ancora dobbiamo andare avanti con questa storia?
Dormammu! Sono venuto a trattare!
Again.
Ancora! Non hai un corpo, tu esisti. Rinasci.
Ronna,
No time. Narrate now.
Mo chi si aggiunge come altra voce?
yes, of course. Pristine blade grasped firmly in your hands, you fly towards the princess before she can turn to face you. You might actually do it this time.
Sì, come no.
I can feel that body of yours slicing through the air. How many more times will I have to scatter you?
As she turns towards you, the very
Ah.
essence of your being begins to flake away. Your
Direi che
muscles
questo non fa bene al suo
broken,
collo.
your nerves laid bare and screaming as the rest
No,
of you
vabbè, ma ha
strip
fatto
of
ginnastica, non
substance.
preoccupare.
Ah, capito, ho capito.
Oh, boo-hoo.
Pure il cinico adesso.
It just needs to last long enough to sink this blade.
Io, ma c'è
into
nessuno
her
di voci.
heart.
Ma è così che funziona la
You are
schizofrenia?
disintegrated. Everything goes
Sì.
dark.
Ma non è rimasto un te che possa... Come sono finite le persone?
How many times do I need to pulverize you before you finally understand? You are nothing. An empty void that dared to dream it was alive.
Ok.
That feels right.
If we're nothing, then why are we still here?
Because we always have been. If we're nothing, then how can we do anything? The same way we always have. Being nothing has never stopped us. Now end this. End.
You cannot win if you cannot be.
Però stiamo pensando. Quindi siamo.
Esatto. Io.
Una forza misteriosa per decidere se il cuore è esposto alla principessa. Finalmente intrecciati e scaturiti dal nulla universale. Persino il narratore ci ha abbandonati. Perfetto.
How? I scattered the atoms you clung to and there was nothing there to find. You can't exist.
I filamenti le perforano nel cuore e cullano il suo spirito.
It's over.
Oh, I think I understand you now. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do the things I did to you.
Sì, però mo è tardi, quindi dobbiamo trovare una soluzione diversa.
She sounds genuine.
Non ti fidare. Sta cosa non mi piace.
Oh,
Manco per un cazzo.
I'm going to be okay, right?
Eccola di nuovo. L'entità. Adesso c'è lo
l'hai già
specchio.
vista allora?
Volo quantico. Trova il modo di trionfare su un angelo rifiutato. Sì, io perché ho visto già lo specchio. Non ha il tempo di...
Where does she go? Should we try and find her? And there's that mirror again. Why is it here? Why now?
Avvicina allo specchio. Siamo noi. Ti avvicina allo specchio.
This doesn't feel right. It feels different. Final.
Screw the mirror. We just need to find the princess.
Ignore the cowards. You have to look.
Come ti avvicini, le voci sono piccole, distanti. Guarda il tuo riflesso. Il silenzio alleggia mentre avanzi. Le voci sono sparite di nuovo. Lo specchio le fa sempre sparire. Ma tu devi vedere cosa succede al suo interno. So io! Il rigonfiamento, sei cresciuto! Ma esattamente noi cosa siamo? Boh. Ancora una volta ti ritrovi nella lunga quiete. Procedi verso la capanna. Ti trovi alla capanna. Avvicinati.
Flickering lights and empty cityscapes become pockets of vitality and movement. I am more than I was before. Whenever you are ready, I will wipe your slate clean once again.
Minchia, quante scelte abbiamo? Attaccare le entità, distruggi il tuo corpo. Che sensazione si può cambiare così?
Eyes close in reflection. Perspectives meld together, and the breadth of my experience stretches to new corners. There are contradictions, conflicts in my nature, and there are familiarities that bind everything together. It feels correct. This is what I need to be. This is the only path forward.
Va bene, torniamo indietro.
I will long for your return, but it will give me time to reflect on what I am. We will meet again.
Cala il buio e muori. Un cuore vissuto porta alla furia.
You're on a path in the woods.
Ok, qua cosa c'è? Ok. Cronologia. Ah, ok, qua è la cronologia di tutto. Ok. Allora. Qui teoricamente noi stiamo portando a questa entità vuota diverse personalità della principessa. Teoricamente in questo momento.
You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
Ok, la scorsa volta abbiamo esitato, quindi È andata male. Vediamo che succede adesso. Grandioso!
The spirit.
Nessuna
You make your
esitazione.
way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within.
A sto giro siamo locked in. Vediamo che succede. Ok. A questo giro proprio locked in al
The
massimo.
interior of the cabin is almost
Questa parte l'abbiamo già vista. Prendiamo la lama. Andiamo. Ok. Ok. Queste cose le abbiamo già viste.
You're still listening to reason.
Infatti coraggio, avanza.
You step forward, your grip on the blade tightening as you steel your resolve.
Oh? No talking then? Fine. What even makes you think you can kill me? I'm probably chained up in this basement for a reason, right? And if that knife is the only weapon you have, you'll have to get close enough to use it. So, you should just drop it. Best not to risk finding out what I can do.
She's unarmed. If you hesitate now, it'll be too late. End this.
Effettivamente qui ha ragione. Ammazziamo la principessa, vai.
You lunge forward without a moment's hesitation. You feel flesh easily give way and look down to see your
Ok,
blade
vediamo che
already
percorso
sinking
incontriamo
into her
stavolta.
heart.
Oh. This is it, isn't it? I'm almost embarrassed. I should have seen that coming. But I have to wonder, do you
Yes.
actually believe this was enough to kill me?
Assolutamente no.
It's like she's convinced she can't die.
Yes, even as she lays there dying, she entirely believes herself to be alive and well. But it's over, isn't it? She stopped breathing moments ago, that arrogant look still plastered on her face. But is it over? Really over?
Ok, non è finita manco per un cazzo. È stato troppo
It's
semplice.
over. Don't get all worked up.
Vediamo che è
We should make
il
sure.
percorso della paranoia.
What's the harm in checking for a pulse?
No, non stai
Really
vicino.
don't think you should do
Hai
that.
ragione. Evitiamo di farlo.
And why shouldn't we? Is there something you're not telling us? I've told you everything that's happened with complete accuracy. The princess is dead. Your blade pierced her heart. There's no coming back from that.
Ok.
Yes, exactly. It's over. With your work done, you make your way back up the stairs, closing the door to the basement behind you. Why do I feel like we've done something terrible?
Ah, ok, ho capito. Forse questo è il
You
patto
did
del
kill
senso di
someone.
colpa.
Greater good or not,
Vediamo.
something would be very wrong with you if you didn't feel at least a little bad. But it was for the greater good. One of these days that will sink in and help ease your guilty conscience.
Adesso cosa compare? Tipo la voce del colpevole o una cosa del
But
genere.
that day isn't today.
Vediamo.
Let's just get out of here.
Andiamo via.
You open the cabin door, ready to return to a world saved from certain doom.
Only a world saved from certain doom isn't what you find. Instead, what you find is nothing at all. Where a lush forest stood mere minutes ago, the only thing in front of you now is the vast emptiness.
Ok,
of
questa
some
questa è
place
nuova.
far away. What happened? Everyone is fine. It's just that you and the cabin are now far away from them. Don't worry. You'll be safe here. This is good. Everyone is happy.
Ok, però mi sa che adesso devo andare, quindi chiudiamola qui. Per ora. Allora, quindi l'abbiamo... Perfetto, abbiamo ammazzato la principessa, adesso il mondo non esiste più. Ottimo. Dal tuo tono di voce mi sa che ho fatto una stronzata, però vedremo dopo.
Allora, No, allora io vorrei che io non dicessi nulla e tu giochi. Ok?
Sì,
Quindi io vorrei di rimanere insieme.
ma tanto le devo provare tutte prima o poi, quindi.
Allora, teoricamente sei molto vicino a uno dei finali. Dei veri finali,
Ottimo, vedremo.
se non ricordo male.
Allora, probabilmente questo pomeriggio esco, quindi continuerò un'altra volta, però intanto per ora la chiudo.
Va bene. Ciao ciao.
Adios.